It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, welcome everyone to the Sam Lesante Show. A great show for you today. You remember Tom O'Neill? Tom was on my show a number of times, and he watches us faithfully in China. And he's been in China since 2009. Tom is with us via Zoom, but brings a lot of information what's happening in China today. Tom, it's nice to see you again.
Well, it's great to be on your show again, Sam. You're looking good.
Tom, tell our audience just exactly what you're doing in China.
Well, I teach English. I teach a cultural diversity class. I used to teach history, world history, but this semester I'm not teaching world history, but I'm still teaching English and a cultural diversity class, and a class called TOEFL. Most of my students want to travel abroad. They want to go to different foreign countries and major universities throughout the world. So I try to help them understand the various cultures and where, especially the countries where they're going. But they like my classes, and I really enjoy the students. Give me a purpose in life.
So you teach them in English?
Yeah, all my classes are in English.
How many students you have in a class, Tom?
Some of my classes I have 25 students. Some of my classes I only have 7 or 9 students. Mm-hmm. It depends on curriculum and what they want to do. Some of the students want to go to Australia, so there's only 9 students in that class, and some students want to go to Canada, so I only have 7 students in that class. And some of my other classes, my oral English classes, they're about 25, 26 students. So some of my classes are very large, but they're not all that big.
In dealing with the COVID situation, I know the summer was a difficult time. Tell us what happened in the summer with the, I think they shut down 15 Chinese cities and they stopped the flights, etc. Tell us what happened then.
At the very beginning of the summer, this is China's version. They say that 2 Russians took a plane. They opened the border with Russia, and 2 individuals from Russia came to Nanjing, and they had Delta variant of the virus, and it spread really fast. And then before they realized what happened, Nanjing is a big tourist city. So people went back to their hometowns and home cities, and they spread the virus to 15 cities. And so everything was shut down again. Not as bad as the first time. The stores weren't shut down, but you had to wear a mask if you rode in the subways. If you took a Didi, you had to wear a mask. If you take a bus, so you had to wear a mask. So then they took your temperature, and all the entrances to the apartment complex where I live was shut down again, except for one, and everybody had their temperature taken. And then you had a green code on your phone. So if you ride a subway, you have to show the green code that you don't have the virus. And if you go into a store, you had to show them the green code. But now everything's back open again, so I'm happy.
Okay, so
shortly after the schools opened, they opened everything else up.
So you're saying everything's open now?
Yeah, everything's open now.
Okay, so it seemed like it didn't last that long.
No, China is pretty aggressive. They're very aggressive and very organized. Whenever there's an outbreak, they know exactly what to do.
Let's look at what's happening in the United States today, okay, in terms of what you're reading, okay? I know you keep abreast of what's going on. So here we are listening to and reading about the surges with the Delta variants, and you know, what would you tell us and your thinking?
America is a free country. They have a lot of liberties, and people don't want to give up their liberties. And like, this is the second summer in a row that I couldn't travel outside the country. You can't travel to foreign countries, and I couldn't go home. This is the second summer in a row that I wasn't allowed to travel to the United States. But the problem is, right now in China, everyone is mandated to get the vaccine. Everybody has to get the vaccine unless you have something serious health problem, or you're younger than 12. If you're younger than 12, then you can't get the vaccine. But now they're going to mandate. Well, they actually did mandate the vaccine, saying everybody has to have it. The problem in America, the country can never get away with that. The government, they would never be able to get away saying everyone has to have the vaccine.
Some companies already are doing that, are mandating their employees. I understand one major company in October that you will not be able to work for the company unless you get your vaccine. And how do you feel about that?
It's showing that you care for the welfare of others by getting the vaccine. There's a lot of misinformation on Facebook. Facebook is really dividing people. People are taking extremes on Facebook and other social media sites. They believe that they don't trust the government. They don't want to they don't believe that these companies put enough research into the vaccine before they released it and stuff. But the vaccines, they work. I'm vaccinated. I have the 2 shots, and in 8 months I have to get a booster shot. So now they're saying that they might have to get a booster shot just like the flu shot every year. You know, they keep your immune system up. Mm-hmm. But if you look on the news, they're saying that the people who are contracting the variant, Delta variant, are people who are not vaccinated. And they're spreading, and the hospitals are starting to fill up again because people are refusing to get the vaccine. And the people that they're interviewing in the hospitals are saying, "Oh, I wish I got the vaccine. You know, I don't want." They're saying, "I don't wish this on anyone." But I love America. I love the fact that America has a lot of freedoms, but with freedom comes great responsibility. You have to be responsible, not only for yourself, but for others. I think I wouldn't want to live with myself knowing that I gave someone the Delta variant and they died, or they were very sick in the hospital. It's annoying when I have to wear a mask. Like if I take the subway and I have to wear a mask on the subway, or if I go into a bank and I have to wear a mask, or if I go into a government building, have to wear a mask. But I understand why they do it. They're protecting themselves and they're protecting you by wearing a mask.
Okay, you said that China was hit in the summertime with with the Delta variants, and you said now they're back to normal. Okay, when you say they're back to
not totally, that's wrong. They're not totally back to normal because they still have restrictions. You can't leave the country, and if you do, you can't come back into the country. Like, if I went back to America, I wouldn't be able to come back to China. So that's why I stayed in China. It's not totally back to normal, but we don't have to wear masks in the schools. We no longer have to wear masks when we go into stores. But we do have to wear masks when we go on the subways and government buildings and banks and stuff. We have to wear a mask.
In looking at the diversity, you mentioned to me that the United States is divided. I'm going to take a break, and when I come back, Tom, I'd like for you to expand on how you're looking at it and how I guess some people in China are looking at the fact that we are divided, and a little bit more about what you're teaching these young people. Folks, I'm talking to Tom O'Neill. He's no stranger to the Sam Lesante Show. He's in China. Wuzhou, is it Wuxi, China? I'm sorry, I can't say that. What's
Wuxi,
China. Okay, we'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. I'm Sam Lesante, and remember, 24/7, you get to watch all of our local neighborhood programs on ssptv.com, our YouTube channel, Facebook, and social network. We're on all of those channels. I'm talking to Tom O'Neill. Tom is a English teacher in a private school in Wuxi, China, and he watches us all the time on YouTube and is staying informed. He's formerly from Shenandoah, and it's interesting. Not only is we have Tom from China, but we have a number of people throughout the United States who moved to California, South Carolina, Miami, yes, North Fort Lauderdale, Alaska, Italy. We have, it's amazing how many people are watching us on YouTube, and I'm glad that they're able to feel a part of their community. I know, Tom, you had indicated to Bob Carl that you enjoy watching our programs. How does that feel when you're looking at, things are happening in your backyard?
You guys are doing a great job with the Chamber of Commerce. You're really helping a lot of people, businesses. You're helping the members, and you really care about the community in Schuylkill County.
Yes, we do.
And
I'm glad you're enjoying it. And I get the same thing. People will send me an email and say, Sam, we run the mass on weekends. We run different religious programming. So we try to fill all the gaps. Getting back to you in China, okay, you had mentioned to me that you see the United States divided. What do you mean by that?
I have a Facebook page, and there's ideology. There's ideological differences, like extremes. And when I teach world history, I teach them about the ideological conflicts in history and why certain things happen through ideology. And I see it almost like a microcosm, but you see how ideology can divide people, how ideological beliefs and opinions really, really divide people. And some people just stop talking to one another. They they get angry, and then they said, well, I don't agree with his opinions. That guy is stupid, and I see it on Facebook. I see like people unfriending people, and but it's not just on Facebook, but especially with the coronavirus and the election and politics and religion. Like, people can take extreme sides and get pretty hostile. People say things on social media that they will never say to somebody's face, and people take it personally. I don't take it personally. I try to understand the other person's point of view. And by trying to get an understanding and still communicate with those people, they respect you. I would never call somebody stupid because of their opinions, but people do get angry, especially at this time, the things that are going on today in the world. I always try to accentuate the positive in others, because when you accentuate something that's positive in others, you're accentuating everything that's positive within yourself. If you can find something in another person that you can respect, they're going to respect you. So I try to avoid politics, and I try to avoid religious opinions, but I have to teach about various religions in my classes, because I'm teaching them about the cultural diversity of various countries. I understand. I try to explain to them that America does have Christian values, and I try to incorporate that values into my classes. I miss talking to my grandfather. My grandfather used to tell great stories about how people, treated one another, and how the immigrants helped one another. When they came to America, and my grandfather was well respected. He didn't offend people, but he was extremely humorous. And if you could make somebody laugh and find things to laugh about every day, people will like to be around you. people like to be around people who are positive. People, if you can make somebody laugh, they're going to enjoy your company. So I try to make my classes humorous, and I try to make the students laugh.
Thomas, you said something. I don't know if you just saw the show that I did. I read some remarks from Father Sika's book.
Yes, I saw that show. He was a very wise man, Sam.
Yeah. And well, let me tell you, what I say is exactly what you say. Surround yourself with people who are positive. There are some people that are negative from morning till night, no matter what you say or what you do, and God bless them. And you want to be able to, listen to various people, and sometimes people like to vent, but there's some people that are just complain all the time, and they bring you down. When you're talking about ideology, you're so right. When a debater is debating, they always debate two sides, and they try to learn from the both sides. Unfortunately, with the political situation, there are people who are bred at Democrats or bred at Republicans, and that's it. They don't open up their minds to what is out there. And, everybody has their right, but you're so right. There are some people, even in the families, don't talk to brothers or sisters because of politics. There's friends that were friends that are not talking. Neighbors are not talking because of politics. And I just think that's total nonsense, don't you?
There's a saying that fools speak because they can, but the wise choose their words carefully. Sometimes it's best just to listen rather than trying to think of what to say to get on top of the other person. Like if you take the time to listen and let the person speak, and like you said, vent, they're going to see you as somebody that's understanding. But if you're always trying to think of something to say to get on top of the other person, all you're going to do is just make the divide even greater, and you're going to polarize the other person against you. It's best to listen, and choose your words carefully.
That's so true. It's interesting. We try to with life being the way it is today, why not enjoy some days that are positive and enjoy, there's good in everybody. You have to seek it out, but some people become bitter, and I feel sorry for them. Folks, I'm talking to Tom O'Neill. He is a teacher in a private school in Wuxi, China, and he's an avid viewer of our programming. He's been on the show here when he was back in the United States. We come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the policy in China, three-child policy, and some things that are happening in China right after these messages. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, ssptv.com. You can watch us in Pottsville on Comcast 190 every day from 7 to 11 p.m. That's channel 190. On Wilkes-Barre Service Electric Communications, Channel 92, every Saturday and Sunday evening from 7 to 11 p.m. And I want to thank those people in Wilkes-Barre and Kingston who have been sending us emails and thanking us for the shows. My guest today via Zoom is Tom O'Neill. Tom is an English teacher in a private school in Wuxi, China. And if you just tuned in, you know we show the show a number of times. Go to YouTube and you can watch the show. Very informational. Thomas, in China, okay, do they put restrictions on you? Like, for example, we're doing this Zoom. Do they monitor what we're talking about, and so you don't say something or you should say something? Are any restrictions on that?
I have a VPN router, and it's encrypted. So I don't think I've been on this show, your show, and I have Facebook, and I have LinkedIn, and I access YouTube, but I have a VPN router that's encrypted, so they can't really monitor what I'm doing. But I don't think people use Zoom all the time. But if you have Zoom on your computer, you could use it in China, but you can't download it in China. They have their own version of Zoom. It's called Tencent Meeting. You could download Tencent Meeting in China, but you can't download Zoom in China.
The three-child policy that China has adopted, tell me about that.
there's an imbalance taking place right now. The baby boomers, they're becoming elderly. And in 1979, they had the one-child policy. And now people are paying into Social Security in China. It takes 4 people paying into it to support one elderly person. And with the one-child policy from 1979, people in China are not having enough children. And even with the 3-child policy, people are still having only 1 child or 2. And it's not enough people paying into Social Security to support the elderly in the future. So they changed it to 3-child policy. But they made laws against private academies. They don't want children going to school in private academies in the evening to take curriculum courses like math, science, English, or on the weekend, because people are paying a lot of money to educate their children. And that's another reason why they only have 1 child. It's too expensive to send their children to school. So it's now all of these private academies have to register as nonprofits, and they have to reduce their tuition. But they're saying that children can no longer go to these private academies on the weekends or in the evening because they want couples to have more than 1 child. They're not having more than 2 children because of how expensive education is now in China.
How is it living in China?
The standard of living here in cities is much, much higher than Schuylkill County. See, China subsidizes all the service providers. So services are cheap, a lot cheaper in China than in the United States. And so people can live much more comfortably. And right now, over 600 million people were raised out of poverty through education. And the middle class is 2 times, almost 3 times larger than the middle class in America. The middle class is twice the size of the entire population of America. And so they have a lot more disposable income, and they have the largest domestic economy in the world right now, China.
Well, you seem to enjoy your job. I know we're going to hear from you again. Please keep us informed what's going on, Thomas. And it's always nice talking with you. I wish you the best. Do you know when you'll be coming back to the United States?
They call in the coronavirus right now the forever virus.
Oh gosh, I hope that's not the case. Yeah. So, in other words, you have to wait till things clear up before you could travel.
Yeah. That's when trying to allow me to travel outside the country. I
see.
Because of the virus, we can't leave the country right now.
Well, Thomas, I wish you the best of health. It's always a pleasure. Please keep me informed what's going on via email or text, okay?
Well, thank you, Sam. I enjoy being on your show.
It's a pleasure to have you. Folks, I was talking to Tom O'Neill. He is an English teacher in a private school in Wuxi, China. He's been there since 2009 with a little break here in the United States. I hope you'll learn something about China. We come back with Thomas in another show. We'll talk a lot more what's happening in China. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.